turn you up. Okay, there we go.
Good morning. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
All right. And the reason I asked you to do this is one, you have a career that is very in demand right now,
Yeah.
and you are only 22, which you are close to everybody in your age. And I'll tell you, we got a room here,
Okay.
and I got a couple behind me as well. So, all right.
Hey.
All right. And I already do have a few questions. A lot of them didn't know the different levels of EMT. So can you talk a little, well, first of all, talk about your path, because I think you have a very interesting path into this career. And then can you talk a little bit about the different levels of EMTs, advanced EMT paramedics?
Um, okay, well, I'm a basic EMT, so I handle basic life support as far as the only thing that I can do and give to a person is like CPR. I can't give out any medicine. The only medicine I can give is oxygen, which you really don't think that's a medicine. And so somebody is really, really needing some oxygen and you give them some and their whole everything just turn around. Another level of EMT is the advanced EMT, which they do a little bit more. They're like a paramedic almost, but they don't have as many well, they have a little bit more restrictions than a paramedic. They can't give certain medicines, but they can give more medicines than I can. And then a paramedic, you would be close to a doctor or nurse in our field, like on the streets. You'll be like the street doctor, I guess you can say. You can do a little bit more. You can administer medicine. You can perform different kinds of CPR. Um, Whereas me being an EMT, I couldn't perform, such as sticking different tubes and stuff down your throat and stuff like that. I couldn't do that. So yeah, that would be like the different levels of EMT, I guess.
Tell us a little bit about how you got into this, because when I met you when you were a student at Northwest Rankin, you had a completely different idea of what you were going to do.
Yeah, honestly, I never imagined myself being an EMT. It's kind of something that kind of just fell into my lap at the time. I originally went to school at Jones to be an athletic trainer, but I realized that going to practices and going to games and traveling with them and missing out on holidays and stuff like that, it wasn't fun to me anymore, especially not playing sports anymore. I kind of didn't want to do that. So after I graduated from Jones, I was kind of like thinking about, well, what am I going to do next? What's my next plan after this? I don't want to sit at home and just work a regular job, but I also don't want to go to school for something that I don't want to do. So that's when I got the opportunity at AMR. They have a 2-month program where you go to school every day for 2 months. It's completely, well, actually, they paid me to go to school. So you get paid every 2 weeks while you're in school. And then after you're done with the program, you're guaranteed a full-time job. So that's kind of how I got, into the EMT program in the EMT field.
Yeah, and Destiny Dixon over there at AMR is one of my old students, and she told me
Uh,
you guys are always looking for people.
yeah.
So some of these that are in here that may not want to go the whole 4-year college route, or even you only got to be 18, correct?
Yeah.
So you only got to be 18 if you're, it's a fast paced, and it's not just, it's not all the stuff you see on TV. Because I know you were on the news not long ago, and y'all were just transporting an elderly person from spot to spot, because that's also a huge part of what you guys do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, like, when we have natural disasters around here and stuff like that, EMTs, we are the number one people they call. A lot of first responders, firefighters and stuff included, they call us a lot for natural disaster, like anything that could be going on. So with my career field, I do feel like it's a lot of opportunities. Not only if you only want to work on the truck, you can do that, but you can also work elsewhere. Like I know a lot of people are interested in football and different concerts and stuff like that. With my company, if there's any event at the Coliseum downtown, we can go for free or we can work the event. So we're getting paid not only to enjoy, something that we like, but we get to also be there and experience it for free. And I like free stuff. I don't know about everybody else, but I love me some free stuff.
I never even thought about that because yeah, every time there's an event, there's always the ambulance there just in case.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then
that's
AMR
true.
is international. So I really can go anywhere in the world and
Right.
I can just transfer my position to another company, which I have been thinking about moving to Dallas. So we're praying on that.
And also there's also the overtime available as well. I know it has the base pay, but the overtime and working that extra stuff also pays
Oh
that.
yeah. We get raises every year. Our base pay is really good. And I know like doing different transports were for me, if you go over 4 transports a day or like 3 transports a day, you get an extra like a tip, I guess, for each transport you do. And you can make up to maybe $5 to $10 extra, whatever you get paid an hour, you get $5 or $10 extra put on that. And you get paid that a week. So it's very competitive pay, but it's very easy to get.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, everybody watches the shows like 911 and all that stuff. So obviously, you have to be able to think quickly because there is a lot of times somebody's life at stake.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some, and a couple of them have asked this, what are some times where you've had to deal with a scary situation where somebody could have lived or died? Because I'm sure you've also saved some people.
Yeah. I've I've had a couple people. This one, let me see. I don't know if I can talk about that one because it's a little. I don't think it's very school appropriate, but
Oh, I
I
appreciate.
know I've had a man in a sticky situation one time, and that was.
Oh, we lost her. All right,
Can you hear me?
yeah, the last thing I heard was you had the man in a sticky situation.
Yeah, my dentist was calling me. Um, but yeah, we came to the scene, and this man, he was in a very sticky situation. He had a heart attack. And this was my first time ever responding to a heart attack, a cardiac arrest call. And most people always tell me in the EMS world, once you respond to a cardiac arrest call, most of the time you're not, you're more than likely not to get them back once they, got to that point. So this is my first time dealing with this. I'm nervous out of my mind because I normally run calls that are non-emergency. I take people to the doctor and to dialysis appointments and stuff like that. But we ended up going there. They have this device called a Lucas device that does the chest compressions for you. Um, put that device on him. We started, bagging his mouth so he can get some oxygen back into him. Whole time while the Lucas device is on him, is cracking his ribs. And it was my first time actually hearing somebody's
Ooh,
ribs being cracked
ooh.
while they're, doing CPR. So I'm just like,
That's actually
okay.
that's actually pretty common. No, if you do
Yeah, I
CPR,
mean, I know
you're gonna
it's
break your rib.
common, but it was my first time. So I'm
Yeah,
just like, I don't know if I'm ready for this lifestyle on the emergency part. So we ended up getting him to the hospital. He died, but we ended up bringing him back in time to make it to the hospital. But as far as like after that, I don't know what else happened to him. I just know he had a pulse. I don't know if he was breathing on his own when we got to the hospital, but I do know he had a pulse back. So that was my one time that I was just in a scary situation where I had to bring somebody back. It was my first time,
that's
my
awesome.
first cardiac arrest, and my first time bringing somebody back. So
That's awesome. Now, before I get to
yeah,
questions, you did talk about the different levels. Is that
yeah.
something that they would also pay you to do once you got into the field?
Actually, yeah. When I started working at AMR, I started making $13. Let's just say 13. This average $13 an hour. Since I've been there, I've gotten 3 raises.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've gotten 3 raises, and I think I was only there for maybe 2 months when I got all 3 of my raises.
Cool.
Like, like I say, having having good work ethic, being a hard worker and stuff like that, that does play a lot in your pay. Like our evaluations, they mean a lot to AMR. So if they see that you're doing good in the field, they're going to, pay you good. I know if you go back to school to be a paramedic or an advanced EMT, they have courses where you don't have to pay for those. They actually pay you. Like while you're in class, you get paid the same that you would get paid as if you were on a truck. And then once you move up to whatever it is, your pay gets bumped up to a like a advanced EMT pay or a paramedic pay, which I think our paramedic pay now is I think up to $21. I
Well,
think. Yeah.
I saw the AMR brochure, and the minimum is 49,000 a year as a paramedic, and that's just starting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that that's quite, especially if you don't, for people that don't have a degree, you go right into it. That's awesome without
Yeah.
student debt.
And
Um,
then AMR, they try to take like the program that they have now, they're trying to take people like anybody. Like if any one of your students in the class right now say, I want to be an EMT, they're taking people that have no medical knowledge, no anything. All you have to do is have a high school diploma or GED and be 18 years old. And no felonies and stuff like that. But
and a
you
lot of
know,
recording this, a lot of people are going to see this later as well. So that's good for
yeah.
them to know. Now, but before I get to some of these questions, one thing we haven't talked about is what kind of shifts do you guys run? Because I know you have your side hustle as well. I mean, how do you have time to do all that stuff? Because I'm curious about the shifts that you guys run.
Okay, so we have an 8 hour shift, a 12 hour shift, and then in some of the counties that we're in, we have a 24 hour shift. So the shifts that I like to be up early in the morning, get my work done, and get out of there. So when I started on a shift that was 5 o'clock in the morning to 1 p.m.
Oh,
So
that is,
I can still have the rest of the day.
oh, yeah, that's
And
awesome.
then I moved to like a 6 to 2 and then a 7 to 3. But they have shift like EMT or the ambulance is 24 hours. So you could pretty much be working at any time of the day.
So if you're somebody that likes, because I know a lot of people like working at night. So if you're
Hmm.
a person that wants to work overnight, there's spots
That's
for.
no problem.
That's awesome. Now, and we all, since I have you, I got to ask you about, especially with the females in here, and I know some of our girls had booked you for prom last year. Talk a little bit about your makeup business, because we got a lot of young ladies watching, and some that'll watch us later.
Okay. Well, and just since you said that, I just want to let like the students know, um, just because you have a certain career field, that doesn't always mean you have to stick to that career. Like I have a job as an EMT, which I do that pretty much whenever I feel like it. But I also do hair and makeup, which I probably don't look like it right now, but I do hair and makeup. So I let my EMT work, like all the money that I make with EMT, I let that like stack up, I guess you could say. I'll stack that paper up and I will put it into what I really want to do as far as like my makeup and hair and stuff. Um I work part time as EMT now, so I can pretty much go up. Like I just call up there and ask, "Hey, do y'all need somebody on the truck, or do y'all have a couple out of towns that we can run? Because out of towns is a way that we can make a lot of money. They take trips to Louisiana. I've heard trips as far as Ohio. Um,
Yeah, because
they're
people
taking
in
people
rural
back to,
communities had to get to the hospital.
huh?
Because people in rural communities had to get to the hospitals.
Yeah, and like when they bring a lot of people here from out of state just to go to our trauma center at UMC.
Yeah.
So once they're done with that, then it's either they go back by airplane or they go back by us. So yeah, we do a lot of those transports too, but just I guess making time for everything. As far as my makeup and stuff, I just kind of work around with, whenever the season that I need to be working with makeup or the season that I need to be working on the truck. Like right now, I'm kind of between because it's finna be graduation season in the summertime, so I'm kind of doing a little bit of both just to make money.
Yeah, for any of the young ladies watching now or the ones that are going to see this later, you're looking at one of the best makeup artists in Jackson. So some of our yeah, and I know a lot of our girls here at Belma Jackson were at least inquiring and had you booked, and then everything fell apart. So
yeah,
yeah, they've seen your work, and I'll give them your social media information, these girls, so they can
all
see
right,
how you do. All right, we do have a few questions here, and these are some really good ones. These are all ninth
okay.
graders. Um, let's see, what's the one? Uh, Gabriel G. He's sitting right behind me. He said, "What's the hardest part about your job?"
I guess the hardest part about my job is losing people. I had to realize quickly when I came into this field that you're not gonna keep everybody. You're not gonna save everybody. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to deal with. Especially just being the type of person that I am, having the loving heart that I do. Like I want everybody that I encounter to have a good experience with me. You know, I never want to leave a bad taste in anybody's mouth, but I also don't want to lose any people. And I lost a lot of patients last year. Um even outside of um even outside of the EMT world, I lost people. So it's just that has been the hardest thing dealing with is losing people.
Uh, that would get to me. All right, this is LaRoger Harris, and he asked, "What's the scariest part about your job?"
The scariest part is not knowing what you're getting into. The psych patients, when they say psych patients, these people are really crazy house psych patients. So yeah, that's one of the
Do
scariest.
you ever get in now, and this is just me wondering, do y'all ever go anywhere where there's been shooting and stuff like that?
Yeah, we do, but we're supposed to wait for the police department to secure it before we actually arrive on scene. So it's not like we're going into it by ourselves or
Yeah.
blindly.
But I know sometimes there can be some miscommunication, so you always got to be
Oh
ready.
yeah, that has definitely happened.
This is Carl Wilson, and you did mention how you originally wanted to get into athletic training, but he asked why did you decide to go into a health related field?
My mother, my mom, she is a nurse, and she has been a nurse since I've been a baby. So, I've always been around the medical field, and then my grandmother, she was a social worker.
Okay.
So, I've always been around something dealing with the medical field, and I said that I was gonna steer away from that, but the opportunity just kind of came, and I was just like, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'm getting paid for it, and it's something that I can do for the rest of my life if I want to.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason why I did it.
Okay, and I thank you so much for doing this. I know you're in a hurry, but um,
Oh, I'm good. I just put my stuff on to make it look like I'm professional today.
you didn't have to spoil it like that. All right, but one thing I always ask, and again, I told you this morning, you're the closest in age person I've ever had speak to this group. So
Yeah,
I really think you can relate because when you graduated, 17 or 18.
17.
17 at Northwest Rankin. So
Yeah.
everybody in this room looks just like you do. They can, from the same area. So being a person that's a young black person in Mississippi, how did you become so successful facing the same obstacles these kids face?
I honestly, I guess I don't see it as a color thing. I just see it as you're here for the same thing that I'm here for. It's who wants it more. That has been like, I guess my motto my whole life. I've always been a competitive person. I've always wanted to be like, I guess I've always worked to, how can I say this? Hmm, I always wanted to work hard. So like when you look at me and you see me, you like, oh well, she was raised good. Like I want to represent my family well. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I've always wanted to represent my family well. So that's why I work so hard and I do the things that I do. I'm open to anybody. So if anybody in the class or anybody that's watching this wants to talk to me about anything, I am the most look, I will talk to a wall. I will talk to anybody.
Oh,
So
I mean, we used to work together. So I mean,
yeah.
we worked in a restaurant, so obviously you can't do that if you don't want to talk to people. So
Oh yeah.
and honestly, and you know, and I've told them, and much of these are too young to work, but
Mm,
working in the restaurant industry really builds on communication skills.
it
And
does.
I think, you know, you were new into it. I was a veteran, but at the same time, I think it helps anybody really help on that communication level, because no matter what field you're going into, especially with what you do now, you're the first person somebody sees in a traumatic incident. They're going to have to, you know,
Yeah.
they need somebody that's going to be able to talk to them and encourage them, because
Yeah.
a lot of what y'all do is the communication level, not only with your patient, but with your partner.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I always stress, is the importance of communication skills, no matter what field you're in, because some of
Yeah.
them talk about, I don't want to talk to people. You know, you can be an introvert, but still be a good communicator.
Mm. And
Uh,
I say, don't be afraid to talk. I mean, don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I know I probably got on my instructor nerves when I was in class, because I'm a sit in the front of the class, right in front of your face, and I'm asking you 1,000,001 questions, and we're gonna sit there until I got all 1,000,001 answered.
oh,
So
I already know.
never be afraid to ask anything. Never be afraid to be who you are, and stay true to yourself for one. I always remember, like, nobody else in the world has to deal with what you're doing but you. So always try to make your moves and do things for you. I know that's one of the biggest regrets I have, since I've gotten older, looking back at all of the things that I wish I would have done. Like, I wish I would have played or tried out for softball. I never tried out, so I don't know if I, could ever play. I wish there was some clubs or some different type of organizations that I could have did while I was in school, that I waited till my senior year to get into, and it was really fun. And I wish I would have, started when I was in ninth grade, or I wish I had somebody to tell me it's okay to try this different thing. It's okay that your friends want to do this, but you want to go do this. It's okay, to do that. So, the young people that are listening today, y'all, don't be afraid. Never give up on yourself. Like, just do you. That's all I can say.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for doing this. But we are about out of time. But again,
Okay.
I appreciate it, and I'll make sure that especially these young ladies get your information, because I know you.
Yeah.
I know.
Most young ladies, young gentlemen, I mean, gentlemen and everything. I don't care. Y'all talk to me. Look, I'm about the same age as y'all, so it ain't like, you know, I'm just old. I'm about the same age. So, and then I still have a sister that's in high school.
Oh yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, I am
Thank you so
open
much.
to it.
I will definitely talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. See you.
All right. Bye bye.